Okay, let's go over the different types of questions. Multiple choice, pretty self-explanatory. We all know what multiple choice questions look like. Okay, pair text and paragraph text, like I told you. Text is for a short answer. Paragraph text is if you want long answer. Let's look at the check boxes again. Like I said, check boxes are the ones that someone can choose more than one answer. So name your 2 favorite foods. Excuse my spelling. Okay, option 1, lobster. Option 2, pizza. Option 3, ice cream. Option 4, French fries. Option 5, for that healthy people, salads, which I like salads, but I wouldn't say they're my favorite food. And once again, you can add an other so they can put their answer in there. Okay, and remember, anything extra that you don't want, these little X's take them away. And so make it a required question if you want, and click done. This will allow them to pick off multiple answers. Once again, if you need to edit a question, if you put your cursor over and you see how we got the gray box, here's for editing, here's for duplicating, here's for deleting. Okay? You need to add another question, add item. It defaults to text. I don't want a text. I want choose from a list. The choose from a list is a drop-down menu. Okay? Favorite month. I'm just being silly. Help text, any information they need to help them answer the question. Directions. You could even link something in here. So if I choose from a list, I could do May, June, July. Okay, so these are some of my favorite months. And what it's going to look like when you do done is a drop-down menu. I can't choose it. I can show you when we do view form. If I do view live form, you can see what it looks like at any time when you're working. So yes, I could click on my multiple answers, and here's my favorite month, May, June, July. Okay? If I want to edit the form, I can go back to edit the form. Another thing I want to show you about in the favorite month thing. Another feature is if choose from a list, you could go page based on the answer. So if for some reason this also works in a multiple choice question, and it also works in the drop-down menu, the choose from the list question. So if you were kind of doing like a branching poll, and if they picked May as their favorite month, you could have them go to another page, okay? Now the pages have to be created, so we'll get to that in a minute, because right now there's only letting you go to one page. So you could have them go to another page to answer different questions depending on their answers. Okay, it works like that for multiple choice as well. If I do add item and I do a multiple choice, we also have the go to page here. So depending on your answer, so this, like I said, it could be if you're doing a branching poll for whatever reason, and if their favorite month is May, you're going to take them to a page that has questions about May, you can do that. Okay? Other items. Scale. So what is the scale to is how was the presentation. So this would be in a scale of 1 to 10, 1 to 5 by default. So you could say it gives you all the way up to 10. So on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being horrible, 10 being the best thing I ever saw. Okay? When you hit done, this is how it looks. So let's look at it in the live form. They get to question is 1 to 10, 1 to 5, 1 being horrible, 5 being the best I ever saw. So it is a scale. So if you want a range to get a feeling how people answer. The grid 1 question is a hard type of question. Okay, with the grid question, you're making a grid of answers. It's really best for me to kind of show you an example. So just say it was you had maybe an all-day professional development and you wanted to hear how people thought about many different sessions. Okay, so row 1, and so you can think row 1 could be one session. So session 1, how did they like about session 1? That would be row 2. I'm sorry. So if there were multiple sessions, so session 1, I could say session 2. So it's kind of when you want to know responses about a lot of different things. Maybe they read a bunch of different articles, or kids did different parts of a project. Okay, and when you see it, it'll make more sense. So session 3, and you want to know, maybe it's professional development day. How did you like the sessions? Okay, so you've got grid, session 1, session 2, session 3, and then the columns are, well, what are the responses? Loved it. It was okay. Kind of boring. And you'll probably be able to think of better examples, but here's mine for now. So when I hit done, this is what it looks like. Session 1, session 2, session 3, and they can put their responses. So it's anything that you have got multiple things that you want to gather responses, similar responses. Does that make sense? I hope it does. The other things in add item are section breaks and page breaks, and they're more for like a visual. So if you put in a section break, you can, name different sections. So maybe these are, all your, if the big parent survey and you have one section about conferences. So you'll have different questions about conferences. Okay, another thing, you can move these things around. So if I decide I want section breaks, I can create and watch. I can drag it and put it, okay, so here's my section. Should have moved it. Of course it didn't. Hang on a minute. Let me try that in. Click and drag. You see how it gets gray? I think I have to line up the blues. There we go. I lined up the blues. So here's my section about conferences. Okay, so just say these were my questions about conferences. And maybe I had another section for the parents, and it's more about volunteering. And you don't have to use sections, but if you have a big survey, it's kind of nice. Once again, the description is optional, but I'll show you what it looks like. Here, please give me info about when you can volunteer. Okay? And you hit done, and once again, you can rearrange. So I can click, and I can move this to where I want it. See, when you want the blues. So see how, see I have green. I'm going to put it here. Okay, volunteering. There's volunteering. All right. And if you want to look what the form looks like now, you have sections. It just says conferences. It says volunteerings. Here's where your information is. So it's a way you can divide up a big survey into different sections if you want to. Okay. The other part that they have about adding is adding a different page. And the reason why you'd use, sorry about this, the reason why you use a page break is if you wanted to do the send somebody to a different page. So if I put a page break here, you could call the page title, I could say this title is May. Okay, and what that would do me is, for example, if I go back to that favorite month question, choose the page based on, I could now go to page 2, May. So when I hit done, if I go to my new page, because it even says page 2 of 2 and add an item, I can make questions here that relate to if someone answered that question about May. Okay, so if you want some more information about the questions with the page going to different page, you Google it, but you're not going to have to do that for this class. So that's really the differences with the different questions, the different question types. Like, again, you could look at them in the view form. You've got the check boxes for multiple answers. You've got the choose from a list, which is kind of like a drop-down menu. You've got the scale, and you've got the grid. All right? One other thing just to show you in terms of navigating around with the questions and the different questions, the different items, you can reorder your questions just like I moved around the section headings. If I want to reorder a question, I can click on it and I can just drag it to where I want it to be. Okay, so notice I just moved that. Or if I don't, I by accident made this question, watch. If I click delete, I can make the question go away. So remember, if you want to do something to a question, just put your cursor over it. You can edit, you can duplicate, and you can delete. You can click and drag them around. and that's pretty much it.